Howdy folks, Sapper here, aka Sean, and guess what time it is? It's time for the CORONAPOCALYPSE, part 5. And this is probably going to be the last part, because as you can see, you can actually see everybody who's left in this screenshot. So we have a zombie, we have Prepper Dan, right there. We have a cosplay samurai. And then look at that. Way back there, we have one of our Phantom Knights. And that's it. It's down to this. Oh, wait a minute. I almost forgot the fire elemental, who's in love with the fire right here. He's probably trying to ask her out on a date. So that's it. So let's go ahead and see if the fire intensifies. So remember, it's a 75% chance, and that does intensify. So if you look over here, our intensity, it goes up to this now. And there's a lot of fire on that. There's a lot of fire on that toilet paper now. Things are looking grim. And then let's do initiative. Oops. Hey, look at that. The good guys have won. All right. You know what? Look at what I did not do. I set up the tokens over here because I stopped last night and I haven't touched it since this morning. Well, these are the only two dudes left. I don't have any markers on any of them. Let's do this. There we go. So Prepper Dan, this zombie and him have been engaged in Mortal Kombat for the longest time. Let's see if one can take out the other at some point. You know, I could do the... Let me reach across. Rather than rolling against defense, because that zombie seems to have some pretty stout defense. We've got... Set this down. So we have... So the sharpshooter is what he used to take out the Prince of Darkness. Right there. That's good against heroes who have multiple life, right? It's a 10% chance... And if you roll that 19 or 20, they're dead. Doesn't matter how many life they had. Doesn't matter what their defense is. None of that matters. But we have this enhanced rifle. Oh, non-adjacent. Guess you can't do that one. Well, forget about all that I was just about ready to discuss. But anyway, how that would have worked is if he was not adjacent, you roll one die, and then... If you get a skull, you just apply one wound. If you get a miss, you get a miss. The defender doesn't roll defense dice. So 50-50 chance to take that zombie out, but he's too close. So we'll just roll these dice. And finally, Prepper Dan has taken out the last zombie. That is the last zombie. No more zombies will be respawning. The hordes have been thinned out, finally. Fire Elemental. He's on a 1. Well, you know, he's trying to make the fire bigger, and we only have one more step to go. I don't remember what I was doing yesterday as far as him... making the fire larger, but we'll just roll this. If it's a skull, the fire gets bigger, and of course, that'll mean that whole thing goes up in smoke. And it does. Let's just take this out of here. Boom. Whoosh. Gone. So the fire elemental gets a kill. He gets that. And we've got all these guys over here. Can the samurai see that? The samurai can see that. You can see them. They're like, no, what do we do now? And then the Phantom Knight, he can't see it from there, so he's going to think that things are normal, but he's obviously going to come back to these two. So, well, they're mad. They're mad at the fire elemental. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to rush that fire elemental. And let's see what marker. All right, that's the X on Dan. So he was number 2. Can he see? No, he cannot. He cannot see that phantom. What's he gonna do? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Can he shoot? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He is within range of that fire elemental. So he will. Let's see if he can do that special. Choose a non-adjacent, small or medium. He may not use this special attack if he moved, which is that last sentence. So, dang it, he can't do that. So, he'll just do his normal attack. He is higher, so the road is 1 elevation higher than what the fire elemental is on, so. And the elemental gets 4 dice. Look at that, man. Dan has found his groove now. Boom. Fire elemental only has 1 life. So apparently bullets can kill fire. All right. Who is next? Number 2. Zombies. They were number 2. Number 3. So I only have 2 markers over there. They're both on the samurai. So the samurai doesn't even know what to do. 2, 3, 4, 5. So he does that. The number 3 marker is on the fire elemental, who's gone. Maybe that samurai is going to sift through the ashes and see if he can find anything that's worth it. The last marker is on the samurai. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And lastly, we have over here is we have the Phantom Knight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You better watch out, Dan. There's a creep sneaking up behind you. So that's it. That's it for that turn. Let's see. What can we do? Well, you know what, folks? I think that's probably the end, right? Because obviously nobody's going to win. Because, well, the thing that everybody was fighting over, it's gone. It's up in smoke. It's ashes. And so there's really no point in, I mean, these guys see it. I mean, the next couple turns, I would probably advance here, and then the knight would see it, and then he would probably he would disappear, just like a ghost would do. So I think that's it, folks. Hey, you know, I enjoyed playing this scenario. I enjoyed this map. This is just a map that I just kind of threw together out of my own imagination, which is one of the great things about this game is that, there's plenty of maps that you can find on the internet, but, just whatever you feel like throwing together. You make up whatever rules, like the whole toilet paper thing and the fire thing. I just made those rules up as I was going along. So that's one of the great things about the game. The only thing that really stinks about the game, number 1, is it's out of print now, right? So you can't even, it's crazy expensive. I bought it, when they were still making it. So I bought it at MSRP. And it was still, it was kind of expensive. But, if they tried to remake this game nowadays, which, man, I would be all in. That Magic the Gathering version that they do, I don't have any of those. And I don't see any reason why I would even want them. But if they were to remake this game, it'd probably be twice as much. I mean, if you look at the if you look at the cost of miniatures games nowadays, you know, like some of these games out there, they're just ridiculous. And of course, the amount of plastic that's in this game, all of this is plastic except for the cards. You know, this game would probably be twice as much as what it was back then. That was the good thing about a company like Hasbro making it, is that they could make it a lot cheaper. So, again, the bad thing about it is the game is out of print, really hard to find, and setting up and takedown is kind of a pain. Sometimes the setup and takedown can take longer than the actual game. Of course, for me it didn't, because, you know, I'm doing the narration, doing the play-by-play and all that kind of stuff, so it took a little bit longer, but yeah, I mean, it's a great game. If any of you guys have it, you know, hey, get Ryan, play it with your boy, man. It'll be a good time. And you know what? I don't know if it's something that you've thought about before, but, you know, you got a 5-year-old who probably his reading is very basic, so like all this is too much. I don't know if you've ever thought about it, but you can always play the basic version of the game where it just uses the stats, and that's it, right? There's no life points, no life totals, just basic movement, basic range, and basic attack. So see, even the big guy he normally has 5 life, point cost and all that kind of stuff, flying. If you use the basic version of them, then they don't have any of that. So, of course, you know, I think the real part of the game is having all these special abilities and all these synergies. You know, like this guy had the attack aura, which gives his followers or his allies +1 to attack and all that kind of stuff. That's where the real game is. But if you got a youngin that you want to play with, you know, you can always make it a little bit simpler for them. So I don't know if you've ever thought about the basic game, but that's always an option for you. Or, you know, you can just kind of tell them, hey son, this guy flies, and when you fly they can do this. I mean, you'd be surprised at how quick young kids will catch on to this kind of stuff. You have to tell them maybe once or twice, but then they'll be like, hey, oh, this guy can fly, or whatever, you know, whatever special ability the guy has. So, you know, it's a great game. I love it. I love the all-in nature of it, you know, where you have things like zombies and cowboys and samurai and Vikings and Romans and robots and just everything in this game. I love games like that. That's why I like this game so much. That's why I like Duel of Ages is like that. It's basically a mashup of everything. And you can always pick and choose what you want. Like if you just want to have a battle of like samurai versus Romans or samurai versus Vikings, if you have enough of the pieces, then you can do that. So great game. I enjoyed it, and I wonder what's going to go on the table next. I can give you a little preview of some of the stuff that's not going to be necessarily next, but it's coming up. World in Flames. So what I've started doing is I'll probably play a basic scenario, but I've started getting the chits sorted for the basic scenario, or a basic scenario. So these are already been clipped. I have to clip them, man. That's one of the things. I'm pretty OCD when it comes to the clipping. Got the clipping. Got my handy dandy counter clipper. So this is definitely at least an introductory scenario, probably. In fact, let me show you. I'm probably going to do this one right here. Victory in the West, May to June 40 to January, February 41. Introductory campaign. So that's the one I'm clipping the counters for. So just an intro scenario to get me kind of familiar with this huge rule book. I mean, if you look, that's a pretty extensive rule book. So I think what I'm going to try to do is just go turn by turn, and then as I get to a turn, or not a turn, what is it? phase, I think. I'm not sure. Where's the... There's a turn sequence in here somewhere. Yeah, here we go. Sequence of play. So when I get to a sequence, I think what I'll do is I'll read the rules for that sequence and then do it and then go to the next sequence. We read those rules and so on and so forth. So that's probably the least preferred method, but that's the one that I'm going to try to go with first. Anyway, I'm sorry to drag this video out with stuff that doesn't apply to what just happened over there. But that's it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you keep on watching. And if you have a lot of time off, I hope you're enjoying the time off if you're able to. So anyway, catch you all later.